So, when it comes to bikes, I hear a lot of you saying that you would never buy a motorcycle without a gear indicator, and to me that sounds quite suspicious. That sounds like the thing that a newer rider would say, because believe it or not, a lot of motorcycles don't come with gear indicators, and honestly, most of the bikes that I've ever ridden don't come with a gear indicator, including the Daytona here. So in today's video we're going to jump on and we're going to show you how you can ride a motorcycle without a gear indicator comfortably and confidently. Let's jump on and let's do this. Now, any of you who have been riding bikes for any length of time are probably going to be pretty comfortable knowing how to ride a motorcycle without a gear indicator. For those of you who don't know, bikes have a sequential gearbox. So you push down the lever for first gear, and then in between first and second as you lift up is neutral. Then as you keep lifting up you get second, third, fourth, fifth, and in this motorcycle's case, sixth. So by its design it is quite a simple mechanism, but I do see how some people might get a little bit confused. Say if you're in third, fourth or fifth or sixth gear, how you can tell that that's the gear that you're in. And to be honest with you, you don't need to. You don't need to worry about what gear you're in. Let me show you why. So what we'll do, we'll just ride around in this little quiet area so I can demonstrate what I mean here, but honestly, all you have to worry about is where your revs are. Like, if your revs are getting below 3000 RPM, then you probably have to downshift. But just so you know, right? So as you push down on the gear lever, that is in first gear. If I push down any further, the gear lever won't go anywhere. That tells you that you're in first gear. Quite easy to tell if you're in first gear, because as soon as you do that, it won't go anywhere. Let me demonstrate again. Right, so that's in first. Now I can't push it down any further than that. And the same goes in sixth. So as you kick the lever up, it will get to a point where you can't kick it up anymore. That'll be sixth gear. Now, one issue that I've got here is, there we go. Because if you're not moving, you're kicking up the gears, it can be quite hard getting it back down to first again. But right, so we're in first at the moment. Alright, I'm going to assume here that you know clutch control and all that. If you don't, check out some of our clutch control videos. I mean, I was going to practice in here a little bit, showing you guys, but it's quite a small area. And this bike has got quite long gears. Like, you could get, I mean, with the gearing setup that I've got at the moment, you could get 70 mile an hour in first gear. So I mean, that at stock you could get nearly 80 mile an hour in first gear, but let's give it a go. So I'm pulling up to this junction here, and I'm pushing down on the gear lever naturally, instinctually, to make sure that I'm in first gear. Alright, so I'm in third, let's bump it up to, sorry, I'm in second, let's bump it up to third rather. Right, now I don't know what gear I'm in, but I know that my revs are dropping, so I have to drop down a gear. I know my revs are dropping again, so I have to drop down a gear again. Basically, that is all that you need to worry about, where your revs are. So if your revs are getting below a certain number, I mean, the thing is as well, you've got loads of wiggle room. So you could do, like, I don't know, if you've got below 5,000 RPM, anything below 5,000 RPM, you can downshift. Chuck it into first or chuck it into a lower gear. It's quite a straightforward thing, you guys. I mean, look, it's easy for me to say, someone who's been doing this for however many years I've been doing this now, nearly 20 years, well it's more like 18 years, but how this comes quite simply to me. This isn't anything really that is too complicated, but yeah, all you have to do is worry about those revs. You don't need to worry about what gear you're in, as long as your revs are above 2,000 RPM and below 11,000 RPM or whatever the RPM limit is of your particular motorcycle. As long as you are somewhere in that range, then you're going to be okay. Alright, so the bike was at about 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, so I upshifted. I shifted up into second. Alright, here you go, I go shift up into third as well, so now I'm in third. But right now I don't feel comfortable riding around in third here because we've got some bends. I'm going to be putting on the brake, so I'm going to pop it down to second. And you can change gears with or without brakes, you guys. You don't have to be braking to be changing gears. You could be changing gears, well, at will, whenever you need to. So we are going to be going on to some different kind of roads here, but We're gonna go on a 70 mile an hour road, or it might be a 60 mile an hour road actually. But that should be a high enough speed for us to get up into 6th gear. I mean, to be honest with you, you could probably be traveling less than 40 mile an hour and get into 6th gear. Alright, so I'm in first, that's second, that's third, that's fourth, fifth, and 6th. So now if I try changing gear, the lever won't move up anymore. I can't kick it up with my toes anymore. You might find yourself doing that some days when you haven't got a gear indicator. If you're going at, say, 60 or 70 mile an hour and you want to have the most fuel efficient riding, then you want to be in the highest gear possible. But sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget that I'm in 5th gear, so I'll kick it up into 6th. Sometimes I'll forget that I'm in 6th gear and I'll try kicking it up into 7th, but there is no 7th gear. And that's okay though. That's alright. If you do that, don't worry about it. That's absolutely fine. But let's go around this roundabout. Let's go back the way we came. See, right now I'm in first. The thing is, like, going from 6th all the way to first is easy, because if you know that you're going to come to a stop, then all you have to do is just kick the gears down all the way until you get to first. So right now I'm in second, third, fourth, fifth, 6th. So here I can cruise. The thing is, I don't think anyone has got any issues with the 1st and 6th gear. I think most people, what they find confusing is the gears in between. And like, if you got to slow down, but you got to slow down a little bit, you haven't got to slow down all the way to a stop, kind of what gear should you be in then? And again, it doesn't matter. So here we're going to be coming up to a roundabout. I don't think we're going to need to stop. So what I naturally do instinctively as I come up to a roundabout is I kick down 2 gears. Whatever gear I'm in, I kick down 2 gears. Right, that's not enough gears, so I kick down another one. So I'm in 3rd gear and I can pull away. But the thing is, you can kick down a gear, let the clutch out, see where the revs land, and then if you need to kick down again, you can kick down again, you can kick up, let the clutch out. So that's something that you can do if you, as you're getting to grips with all of it, kick up or kick down, let the clutch out, and see where your revs are at. As long as they're not going sky high, then you'll be okay. Yeah, so right now I'm gonna gear down once, let the clutch out, see where my revs are, and if I'm happy with where they are here, then that's great. I'll stay in that gear if I'm maintaining speed. If I'm accelerating, I'll kick it up. If I'm decelerating, I'll kick it down. But I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I don't keep track of what gear I'm in, ever, because that if you have to worry about what gear you're in, you're not really riding right. You're not riding properly, and because it doesn't matter. All you need to know is that 1st gear is what you use to get off the line. All you need to know is 6th gear is what you do to cruise. Everything else in between, you're already moving, so it doesn't really matter, because you could be traveling at 60 mile an hour in 2nd gear on this bike, or you could be doing it in 5th or 6th gear. It really depends on your riding style and how you like to ride, especially on a motorcycle like this where all the power is up at the top end of the rev range. You probably want to be staying up at the top end of the rev range more often than the lower end or the mid range, because you're not getting a lot of power there. Let's swap lanes here. But right now I'm cruising, I don't know what gear I'm in. Genuinely, right now I've got no idea what gear I'm in. I don't keep track of it. I don't count my gears, because you don't need to. As long as the revs, the RPMs, are within 3,000, 10,000 RPM on this particular bike, that's all you need to worry about. That's all you need to know. And then, I mean, once I get beyond, a certain RPM, because I want to cruise, for example, then I'll keep it up a gear. If I want to accelerate, I'll kick it down 2 gears and then accelerate away. I'm not keeping track of what gear I'm in though. I had no idea what gear I'm in. I could have been in 2nd, I could have been in 3rd. I think I was in 2nd there when I blasted away. Let's slow down a little bit. But I don't know, I'm not 100% sure, and it doesn't matter. You don't need to know what gear you're in. Like right now, I think I'm in 3rd. I think. I'm just feeling it out. I think I'm in 3rd. Let's see. I know that 1st gear on this bike could be doing 45 miles an hour. I know that, so it'll be okay. So let's bump it down. So 1, 2, there you go. I'm in first. So I know that I was in third then. But there's no way of telling unless, whilst you're moving, you kick your gears up and down. There's no point. If the bike is riding comfortably at the RPM that you're at, you don't need to worry about changing gears. As soon as you start accelerating, you get up to higher speeds, then you might want to think about upshifting. You might want to think about going up into a higher gear if you want to save a bit of fuel and you want to ride a bit more efficiently. But it honestly doesn't matter. All you need to know is whilst you're moving, you're going to be anywhere from 2nd to 6th gear, and when you're stopping, when you're slowing down, you're going to be going down the gears, and when you're stopping, you're going to be going into 1st. That is it. But by habit, if you're coming to a stop, you kick all the way down. You keep kicking down until you hit 1st. Alright? Like here, so I know I'm in 3rd gear, for example, so I know I got to kick down twice. But even though I knew that, I still kicked down the gear lever, even though I knew I was already in 1st. Because that's just a habit that I had, because I know I had to be in 1st for that particular roundabout, for that particular instance, for that particular maneuver. So you kick it all the way down, and then you kick it again to make sure that it is in 1st. That, for me, guys, is the most important thing. Like right now, I know I'm in 2nd, but I could go up to 3rd if I wanted to. So there you go, I will, so I can ride a little more fuel efficiently. But if I want to have more power available, then I'll kick it down into 2nd, so then I can put the power down, right? If you're asking yourself what gear you're in, you're asking the wrong question. The things you should be asking yourself is, what speed am I doing and what are my RPMs? If you know those two things, which you probably should know those two things, then you know if you're in the right gear or the wrong gear. That's it, binary. Yes, correct gear, no, wrong gear. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to worry about. Genuinely, I'm not making this like I'm not just like, I don't know, what's the word, like fobbing it off, this question, but I'm being honest and serious about how simple it is. It is a very simple process. It's a very simple thing, and it won't take long for you to grasp. Yeah, like if you want to practice riding a bike without a gear indicator, and your bike just so happens to have a gear indicator, put some tape over the gear indicator, some electrical tape or something like that, so you can't see what gear you're in. See, right there, I knew I had to downshift, so I did, because my revs are going a bit too low. But you just put a bit of tape over it and just ride and practice. Practice riding without a gear indicator. It's really easy. You'll find that over time, you don't even need to be looking at the revs, you don't even need to be looking at the speed that you're doing. You'll just know whether you're in the right or the wrong gear simply by the sound and the feel of the bike. Like, look, I got a downshift here because the bike was struggling, alright? You'll just know. I don't look at the speed, I don't look at the revs, I just know whether I need to be up a gear or down a gear. I just know instinctually. Like, I could literally put tape over all of this. I mean, you know, I wouldn't know what speed I was doing, just in case I got caught speeding or something like that, but I could put tape over all this and just demonstrate that I could ride without knowing what gear I'm in, without knowing what RPM I'm in, and without knowing what speed I'm in, and I could be in the correct gear that I feel comfortable in. But again, the correct gear in a lot of cases is subjective. Like right now I'm doing 50 miles an hour, I could be in 6th gear right now. Right now I think I'm in 4th. I say I think because I don't know. But again, if I kick it down, say 1, 2, 3. There you go. So I knew I was in 4th. But I had to kick it all the way down into 1st to know that I was in 4th, or I could have kicked it up all the way to 6th, I was supposed to figure out what gear I was in. But it doesn't matter. Because I know that the bike is comfy at this particular speed, at this RPM. If a bike is screaming at you, then you probably need to upshift. Right? If the bike is struggling, it's like vibrating lows and it's like, you know, it doesn't sound happy, then you probably need to downshift. But anything in between that, it's probably okay. I am tempted just to go and get some tape, put some tape over all of this, just to demonstrate that, but to be fair, I did that once already on my wife's 125. These guys are... I might have to help these guys out here. Let's have a look. Do you need a hand? Do you need a hand? How heavy is it? Is it quite difficult to push?
I haven't tried.
Oh, you haven't tried? Okay. If you like, if you get in the car, we can start pushing. People will let us in. It'll be okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we helped somebody out. It's not the nicest thing in the world when you break down on a Sunday evening. Oh, that sucks, man. But here we got them out of the way, and they got some people on the way helping them. Gonna go and pick them up with a trailer. So, woo! Yeah. Anyway, I can't even remember where we were. So, oh, hang on. I get like there's a condensation over my visor. But honestly, you guys, when it comes to changing gear, it's something that you will just do instinctually as you get more experience riding the bikes. But look, like right now, I know I'm coming to a stop, so I know I have to be in first gear, so I've put it all the way in first gear well before I've come up to the junction, or well before I've come up to the roundabout, or whatever the case might be. But it really isn't something that you need to worry about. It's not something that you need to keep track of. Like, I mean, for example, I know that some of you might be thinking, well, okay, what if I'm almost coming to a stop? Like, I'm coming up to a roundabout, but I'm not sure if I need to slow down, not sure if I need to stop, or if I can just keep going. Well, in that case, just drop down a gear, depending on the speed you're doing, drop down a gear, let your clutch out, and if the revs are okay, then you know you're okay to accelerate away. Or on a lot of these bigger bikes, I mean, I know beginners aren't going to be on bigger bikes, but you can just do it in first gear. Just chuck it all the way down to first gear. As long as you're doing like less than 30 mile an hour, most if not all bikes will be okay. I think even my wife's 125 can get up to about 27 mile an hour in first gear. So as long as you're doing less than 27 miles an hour, then you know that you can drop it down all the way to first, and that's just the way it goes, really. But I know I had to come to a stop, so I know I've got to kick it down all the way. But this isn't something that I think a lot of people, they get worried about it when it's something that they don't really need to worry about, to be honest with you. All your gears can do is go up or down. You can do block shifting where you change gears so you kick it more than once, either down or up, but you're not going to be doing that very often unless you're coming to a complete stop, or unless you are in far too high a gear to accelerate quickly. But that's just how it goes, you guys. Like, don't be afraid of something, learn something. And like I said earlier, if you have a motorcycle with a gear indicator but you want to practice without using the gear indicator, then put tape over it. Honestly, you'll figure it out very quickly, I promise. But it isn't one of those things that's as difficult as you think it is. It's much easier than you think it is. honestly, you guys, seriously, like, I know it's easy for me to say, but especially for a total novice, a total beginner, but driving in a manual car is harder, in my opinion, than, you know, knowing where the gears are in a manual car is harder than on a motorcycle. Because all you can do is go up or down. You know, in a car, you've got the up and down movement, the left and right movement. You've got quite. There's a lot more movement in terms of axes than there is on a motorcycle. So, to me, I mean, well, I've been driving cars for a long time as well, but so I don't think about that anymore either. But you know what I mean? It's one of those things where you know when you're in first, you know when you're in second, you know when you're in third, you know when you're in fourth. Have you ever done that thing where you think you're in a gear, so then you go to grab the gear stick, but of course because you're watching the road, you're not exactly sure where your hand is going, and then you accidentally put your hand to the gear position where you think it is, but your hand's not there. It's like, you know, you're trying to grab just air, and then you realize that you're in a lower gear or a higher gear, so you have to adjust where your hand position is on the gear stick to find where the gear is. See what I mean? Like, that for me is more challenging than gears on a bike. A lot more challenging. But I mean, I hope I've answered that question. I hope that I've shown you how straightforward it is and why you don't need to worry about what gear you're in. And as long as you know you need to be in first when you're at a standstill, and you know that you need to be in sixth when you're cruising, but you can cruise at any speed in any gear. So again, it's up to you really what gear you want to be in. And if you don't feel comfortable going, say, beyond third gear, then just stay in third gear. Most of the speeds that you'll be doing on a regular basis, you'll be able to do in third gear on most bikes anyway. So just stay in third gear until you start getting a bit more comfortable and a bit more confident on the bike, and then you can start experimenting with going up into fourth, going into fifth, and if your bike has it, going up into sixth. But it really isn't one of those things that you should worry about, and it's not something that should put you off buying a bike either. Absolutely not. You'll pick it up incredibly quickly. I mean, for me it was baptism of fire, because believe it or not, that Chinese 125 that I had when I started, that had a gear indicator. Where it amazes me because my wife's Ninja 125 doesn't have a gear indicator, which kind of amazed me. But my ER6, which is my first big bike, that didn't have a gear indicator. And of course I'd been used to riding a bike with a gear indicator, and when I bought it I had to ride it home. But on that ride back home I realised that you don't need a gear indicator when you're riding, because as you're riding the bike you'll just instinctively know when you need to upshift, when you need to downshift. It will come very, very naturally, because you'll get to know what the engine can do and what it can't do. So yeah, it's really funny. I mean, my wife, when she's driving, it does frustrate me a little bit, because she's never in the right gear at the right time. Like, she'll try pulling off roundabouts in second or third gear, but she won't realise that she's not in first. But as long as you're paying attention, you'll be okay. You'll be alright. But I get it, you know, my wife is one of those people that isn't the most confident when it comes to using gears. So I get it. I understand why people would feel quite intimidated by it. But like I said, in a car, I think it's harder. I think it's harder to work out in a car. But honestly, as long as you figure out that below 10 mile an hour or coming to a complete stop, you need to be in first gear. Below 15 mile an hour, you need to be in first gear. And press it down again as well to make sure you're in first gear. And anything else between that and fifth or sixth gear, depending on the bike, you don't need to worry about. You can be in whatever gear you want, depending on the speed that you're doing. Like right now on the Daytona, I feel comfortable at 30 mile an hour being in second gear, so I'll just stay in second gear doing 30 mile an hour. If I'm getting up to 40 mile an hour, then I'll get into third. If I'm doing anything more than that, I'll get into 4th, 5th, 6th. It really just depends, you guys. Depends on the scenario and what speed you're doing. That matters more than what gear you're in, what speed you're doing, because everything else will fall into place once you know what speed you're doing. But as a rule, anything below 15 mile an hour, get into first gear. Then you don't have to worry about it. Just make that automatic, make that routine. Anything under 15 mile an hour, you make sure you're in first gear. So as you're slowing down, if you're going below 15 mile an hour, you get all the way into first gear, whatever gear you're in. Alright, even 20 mile an hour. That's what I mean. It fluctuates depending on like how fast you're going on approach to slowing down afterwards. So it really isn't something that it's not something that should concern you, really. The only important gear that you need to remember is first. That's it. And remembering to pull in the clutch as well as you're coming to a stop. I know a lot of beginners, they forget that as they come to a stop, they've got to pull in that clutch. But again, you just make it routine. You make it routine, so I know I'm coming to a stop here, so I'm putting on the brake and clutch. And I'm going down into first gear, because I was in second. It's all well and good me explaining this, you guys, and demonstrating it, but you guys have got to do it yourselves. At the end of the day, you're the ones that have to get on the bike, and you have to practice yourself. You're not going to be a motorcycle expert just from watching YouTube videos, all right? You have to get on the bikes, and you have to practice and learn yourself. And when I say that you'll get it, I promise you, you'll get it. You don't have to worry, okay? Don't worry about silly things like clutch control or gears, because once you've figured it out, it's quite straightforward. To be brutally honest with you, it's very straightforward and not something that you need to worry about. But if it is something that you worry about, then practice. That's the best thing to do. Get out there and practice. You'll be alright. But anyway, you guys, I hope that that today's video we've demonstrated how simple it is moving gears up and down on a motorcycle, when you should and when you shouldn't move gears up and down. But of course, as always, definitely let me know down in the comment section if you have any more questions about this. I'm sure either myself or someone in our thriving little community will answer you and will let you know. But for the most part, this tutorial, if you like, or this demonstration should be all the information that you need to know. And I hope that I've contextualized it enough for you that you understand, and that it really isn't something that you should be intimidated by. But like I said, if it is, watch this video, use it as an inspiration or as a tutorial, and practice yourselves. That's the best thing. That's the best thing that anyone can do if they're not quite sure how to do something on a motorcycle. They get some advice, and then they try and practice it themselves. They get the theory, and then practice the theory. And that's it, you guys. It's honestly very, very straightforward. If I remember in post, I'll bring up the video of me where I tape over my wife's Ninja 125, the Speedo, and I'm pretty sure I'm demonstrating going up through the gears and going down through the gears a little bit in that video as well, because you don't really need to know what speed or RPMs you're doing. At a certain point, when you know what a bike can and can't do, you kind of figure it out fairly quickly, what the bike is able to do in what gear, and you just feel it out. I thought that car was I thought they were waiting to go or something, I don't know. But yeah, you guys, if this video has helped you out and it's given you some confidence, then please go ahead, leave that like and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell down there so you don't miss any more instructional videos from us. Let me know down in the comment section below, of course, if you have any more advice for newer or beginner riders. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure they'd really appreciate it, and it helps boost the video, get the video view to more people. But yeah, thanks again, everybody. You guys, you take care, you ride safe, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.